Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I'm here today with a design team post for Scrapping for Less. Today I'm going to be using the stamp set from Pinkfresh Studios called Heart and Soul, and it is a beautiful floral kind of half wreath or a swag, I guess they call it too. And instead of coloring this, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I know for me, I don't always want to sit down and color because coloring takes a lot of time, and sometimes I don't always have a lot of time, but I still want to make something. So I heat embossed this image with clear embossing powder, and I did remember to use my heat tool, which, especially with an image this large, you do need to make sure that you use that. But it's also clear embossing powder, so it wasn't quite as bad. But I heat embossed clear embossing powder on a black piece of cardstock and a white piece of cardstock. And then I used Distress Oxides to do some color blending on there with these brushes, and I do love these brushes. The colors that I used were picked raspberry, candied apple, fossilized amber, cracked pistachio, salty ocean, lucky clover, and peeled paint. So those are all the different colors that I used, and I blended them on both pieces. I loved how the white turned out. The black is really cool, and it has a really cool effect, kind of like a twilight effect, but the white, I love the vibrancy of the colors that are on the white. And after I was done, I did spritz it with some water to give it that look. And like I said, I love really how both of these turned out. I did do the stamping for the sentiments with black VersaFine ink for the white card, or for the white paper that I used, and I used Unicorn White from Hero Arts. That is my favorite pigment white ink. It covers really, really well for the black card. And the sentiments I used were, so fill your heart with what's important and be done with all of the rest on the white card. And for the black one, I used everything I am, you helped me to be. So I just think that was really cool. Now, sometimes when you either heat emboss or you use water on cardstock, it'll get a little wonky. And one trick to even that out, well, there's actually a couple things. On this one, I didn't actually do it. I used Fun Foam to kind of straighten it out, but also to give the card some dimension. But you can also take your sheets or your card fronts or your panels or whatever and run them through your die cut machine just with a couple pieces of paper. Do make sure that the paper is the same size or larger so that you don't get marks in the paper when you're running it through, but that will also help to flatten it out. After I kind of put the Fun Foam on there, like I said, when it's a little wonky, sometimes the Fun Foam will help, especially when you have the kind that's sticky on one side. Because the entire thing is sticky, it'll flatten out that whole card piece. The other thing I used to accent this card were Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew. I got that in a previous Scrapping for Less kit. And then these iridescent sequins that you see there are my absolute favorite iridescent sequins. I just love how they look. And then at the end, I did shimmer spray both with the shimmer spray that I make myself, and I love how both of these cards turned out. The white is definitely my favorite. For the white one, I used a yellow card base that I had just in my stash, and then for the black, I used a bright pink card base that I had in my stash, and I did the same thing for that, like I said, with using the iridescent sequins and then the Morning Dew Nuvo Crystal Drops. And I really love these crystal drops because they dry clear, but they kind of pick up the color underneath whatever is underneath it, so it kind of gives it a cool effect depending on, especially with these cards, where you put it down. So some of the dots, like on the yellow, they look kind of yellow, some of them look bluish, some of them look greenish. I love how these turn out with that. And then that is pretty much it for these cards. Like I said, I love coming up with new things to do so that you're not always having to spend hours coloring, but I love how both of these turned out. And I just cleaned up the embossed area a little bit before I finished up this card. And you can see that it goes on kind of a milky white color, but when it dries, it does dry, like I said, clear, but it does pick up some of those colors underneath it. And I just love, like I said, how both of these cards turned out. I think they're just great inspirational cards that you can make with this stamp set. And some of the other sentiments in this stamp set are: be patient, everything is coming together, trust your soul, you are so thoughtful, turn a setback into a comeback, do all things with love, that's so nice of you, and here's to making dreams come true. So it's a really cool stamp set. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe and take care.